Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. It's the simple things in life, like learning all again. It's the simple things in life, like finding where it all began. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History. Now we going back. He done on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know my people on my back for sure. I hold them down.
We're back. Welcome back to those of y'all who are watching. All praise to the Most High. You are now tuned into
Our Hidden History Radio Show.
Still tired from last night, man. Yeah, double Sabbath, so yeah, new moon, Sabbath.
Yeah.
Hanging out late, so I'm still feeling it, man. But
hey, D, you want to give a shout out to Cap, man.
Yeah,
Cap.
Captain the Plot, man.
Cap is back
For a while, man.
Yeah.
We got We got
Been away for a while, huh?
We got the priesthood here. We're gonna get blessings, man.
That's right. That's right. Bring it out. Bring it out.
It begins. Kevin Drell in here, so someone got to take the mantle. All praises, man.
Hey, listen, man. You can't do without the priest, man.
The original cast is back, man. Part of the original cast is back. All of a sudden, be playing games.
Damn.
Kevin Drell be playing games too, man. I'm gonna get on y'all, man. Y'all be coming here, man. Just get a hotel room, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, Philly, man, we party all night, so brothers don't want to come here. They don't want to show up here. You know, so they be mad. I got work tomorrow. Nah, I mean, what's work, man? What's a job? What's a bill, you know?
What is that?
What's that mean? Let me hear all of that responsibility talk over here, man.
Yeah.
What is that?
Responsibility, job, adulthood. Come on, man. Come on. What? Anyway, so basically we're going to get into it. We're going to jump into the slave ship's destinations, which is going to eventually lead us into the trans-Pacific slave trade I've been talking about. I've been hopping on for a while now. I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to get there today, but we are going to eventually. We might. We'll see how this goes. So we're going to open up with the Atlantic slave trade. You know what I want? I want the Atlantic slave trade. All right, by Don Nardo. Don Nardo, and we want page 14. All right, let's get that.
This page 14. The rise of the slave trade. Mm-hmm. The Atlantic slave trade was one of the most profitable commercial ventures in history. At the same time, it was one of the most violent, inhumane, and downright murderous episodes in a long and eventful human saga.
Nothing surpasses the slave trade. You're going to hear all the time, everyone was a slave. Everyone was slaves. No people on this earth have ever underwent the atrocities, the inhumane, violent, and murderous and downright terrible acts of slavery that our people underwent. No one can make such a boast. Only us. And many of y'all, that's why I went through a whole series of testimonials to show how you got white folks pretty much infiltrating, well, nothing new, infiltrating black minds and convincing them that we were always here and slave ships are not real. And I think those are agents, I'll be honest. I think those are agents. I think there's white folks that got these Negroes paying them off. I don't know. Either they're, if they're agents, it makes them sound smarter because you got to be really stupid to believe that slave ships never existed. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe you were paid off or you're listening to Esau, listening to the white man, and so you're adopting what he's saying. I don't know, but it's just comes off very weird to me that all of a sudden, as this truth begins to grow and spread, now all of a sudden people are attacking commonly known history regarding how we got over here. It's insane to me. But since you want to knock and bash the Atlantic slave trade and profess that it never existed or took place, then what we're going to do, we're going to take you to the other side of the world and see if you can knock that too. So jump down to the exact size.
The exact size and scope of the slave trafficking that crisscrossed the Atlantic from the 1400s to the 1800s.
See that right there? That's the accurate time, from the 1400s to the 1800s. Because this author here is including Spain and Portugal. See, a lot of not, how you say, not so much, I don't say not unlearned, but I guess scholars who haven't done a thorough or more thorough research in their studies, they'll say 1600s. But those who know, they go back as far as 1400s because that's how far it goes back, 1440s and so on. Go ahead.
It is unknown.
Go ahead.
The most often quoted modern figure is 10 to 12 million slaves transported across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, that's the guesstimate, but we all know it was far more than 10 to 12 million. That's a lie. It was in the hundreds of millions. Go ahead.
Many, perhaps as many as a third of whom died on the way. Other estimates range as high as 20 and even 40 million.
That makes a lot more sense. Go ahead.
The reason that no precise figures will ever be known is that no exact records were kept.
That's how you know it was more. Go ahead.
True. Individual ship captains knew how many slaves they carried on specific voyages and in specific seasons. But hundreds and eventually thousands of ships from many different countries took part in the trade over the course of generations, and no one thought it necessary to keep an overall count for the sake of posterity.
Let's jump down to the part I want to see. Because I haven't forgotten, y'all. Remember, this class goes back to the big three. Okay? Edom, Ishmael, and Moab. Or today, your modern names would be Europeans, Arabs, and Chinese. Okay, the big three. Read that there, the Muslim Slave Network.
The Muslim Slave Network.
That's what we want to deal with today. The Muslim slaves. I haven't forgotten. Go ahead.
It is natural to ask how these nations became involved in trafficking human beings on such a huge scale. After all, slavery was not very common in Europe. Oh, that's okay.
Go to the top. We'll get to that. The first.
The first African blacks brought to Portugal in the mid-1400s became either household servants or laborers on sugar plantations.
The first African blacks brought to Portugal in the 1400s, brought to Portugal from where? From Africa. They were shipped from Africa and brought over to Portugal, or they were shipped from the Americas and brought to the plantations in Portugal. Go ahead, read it again. That's why it says mid. That's late 1400s. Go ahead.
The first African blacks brought to Portugal in the mid-1400s became either household servants or laborers on sugar plantations.
Slaves.
A Portuguese royal courtier of that era, Gomes de Azara, describes some of these slaves in his book, Chronicle of the Discovery and Conquest of Guinea.
Conquest of Guinea. That's where they got them from Guinea, Upper Guinea. I showed you on the book earlier, well, not earlier, but before, the nautical magazine book where it mentions in Upper Guinea how we maintained Mosaic customs, Judaic customs, the 12 tribes. We had 12 tribes among us up there, new moons, Passover, circumcisions, Mosaic law. And we were asked why, they were told, oh, our fathers knew it. Our fathers did it, so we do it. That's in this book, nautical magazine. Now, read on.
They never more tried to flee after we captured them, but rather in time forgot all about their own country.
They became assimilated and integrated into society as slaves. They were broken. Go ahead.
They were very loyal and obedient servants without malice.
Go ahead.
They make it sound like almost like the
it is.
NIV version.
Yeah, it just
Offer
came in.
yourself,
They gave no resistance. They were happy. Go ahead.
Hey.
After they began to use clothing, they were for the most part very fond of display.
Wow.
This is some bullshit.
They had no
BS.
clothes. Damn.
So that they took great delight in robes of shadowy colors.
Showy colors.
And such was their love of
This is
finery.
all bullshit. This just jump down, man. This guy is lying.
This sounds like Uncle Ruckus' version of slavery.
Yeah.
Very common. However, the slave-owning traditions of ancient times, which had culminated in the huge-scale slavery institution of ancient Rome, were not dead. In the early
So
medieval,
the same way slavery was done in Rome was the same way that Esau did slavery with us in 1400s, because it's the same people doing the exact same thing. Go ahead.
were not dead. In the early medieval centuries, they remain alive and valuable in various areas on Europe's periphery, most notably among Arabs and other Muslims in the Middle East and North Africa.
So most notably among Arabs and other Muslims in the Middle East and North Africa. They maintained slavery. The Arabs maintained slavery. Go ahead.
In the 7th and 8th centuries, following the rise of Islam in Arabia, Muslim armies spread outward.
Muslim what?
Armies.
Muslim armies. They were colonizers. What happened to them in Gaza, they did to us. That's why I have no care for what's happening over there. I do not care. Go ahead.
Muslim
Hey, Ishmael, good luck, buddy. Fight back. Go some balls. Get your brothers around you. Fight Israel, man. Fight them back. Get it popping. Do your thing. Pop off. Go talk to Iran. Get an Uber or something. Right over there to Iran. Talk to them and pop off, man. Do your thing.
Get some more vets.
Get some more nuke. Do what you got to do, man. Pop off. Do what you must. Go ahead.
Muslim armies spread outward and created an enormous empire.
It did.
It stretched from what is now Iran and Iraq in the east across North Africa.
I said before in that presentation that I'm going to talk about for years to come regarding these young boys I taught at Temple University. I went over this history, and they didn't have the slightest clue. It was honestly very, very, very hurtful and very disturbing what I saw at that college university. When I presented a book that was published in 1783, and I asked these young brothers where were black folks in 1783, and they didn't know. When I asked them where were black folks in 1670, and they didn't know. When I asked them where black folks were in 1850, they didn't know. That was very disturbing to me. Very, very disturbing. And that just goes to show you that after a while, what we're saying to y'all now, this history we're showing y'all now, is going to be long forgotten. Long forgotten. It's going to be only after a while. I believe only if you're not in this faith, you won't know where you came from.
Generation is finished.
Yeah, I think by the time if we grow old in this place, and we grow old and die here, and our kids are left behind, what's being taught now will be like a joke or a myth. I'm telling you. I pray I don't grow old here, because these Negroes are stupid. I don't want to leave my kids behind these people, bro. It's bad. It's bad. But let's continue. That was a very disturbing. Let's just go. Go ahead. Jeez.
It stretched from what is now Iran and Iraq in the east, across North Africa to southern Spain in the west.
So the Ishmaelites, they conquered all of northeast Africa and made their way across the northwest and took over parts of Spain as well, with us as their army. Primarily Israelites that were subjugated or conquered or woefully gave in to Islam. We became part of their infantry. We joined their military, and we pretty much helped them gain dominion over parts of Africa and Spain. The primary soldiers of the Islamic army were Israelites. Go ahead.
The Muslims maintained prosperous cities with impressive political and legal systems and centers of learning. And well-to-do members of society supported their comfortable lifestyles, partly through exploitation of slave labor. Mm-hmm. For the most part, these slaves came from sub-Saharan Africa. Mm-hmm. Islamic law forbade Muslims from enslaving each other.
Right. So Islamic law forbade Muslims from enslaving each other. But what happened was, when our people realized that it's okay, well, if we pretend that we'll accept Islam, they can't enslave us and divide our families. So what they start to do is they start to wage what is called jihads or holy wars, and they would do that. They would say, okay, well, you know what? If these Negroes keep converting, we can't make no money. So they would bypass that law and sell us anyway. And that's what they would do. Go ahead, like they're doing now. Currently in the same part of Africa, Tunisia, Mauritania, Libya, Egypt, they still got us as slaves. They're still doing it. The Iraqis are still doing it. The Iranians are still doing it. They got a show on Amazon Prime called about the secrets traffic over there. I didn't watch it yet, but I'm gonna watch it. But they still got the trade going on till this day. Go ahead.
But Muslim merchants found a ready source of black African captives in the lands lying just beyond the southern reaches of the Sahara.
An example of that would be Lam. They depopulated a whole damn black city of Israelites in Africa called Lam. Go ahead.
Some of these captives worked in homes and fields in the Muslim lands.
Still do.
Bordering the southern Mediterranean Sea. Other black slaves were forced to convert to Islam and serve in Muslim armies.
That's why we took over. I said before, we took over. We became part of the army. Go ahead.
Historians estimate that a total of nearly 10 million sub-Saharan Africans were forced into slavery in Muslim societies from the 7th through the 18th centuries.
That's a long time. Go ahead.
Thus, a large and sophisticated trans-Saharan slave network existed throughout medieval times and beyond.
There's a picture right here, a famous picture of them having us as slaves, having us walk hundreds of miles to the slave ports to sell to the Portuguese. And to the Africans also. That's the Arabs there. They're Muslims that you Negroes love so much here in Philly and Jersey. Walking with your ancestors in there, locked together. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go on. What page is this?
Genoese and Portuguese sugar plantations.
That's Genoa. That's like a part of Spain and Portugal. Go ahead.
The transatlantic slave trade was, at least at the outset, an outgrowth of this slave trafficking network, long maintained by Muslim merchants. But over time, Europeans began tapping into the sub-Saharan slave markets. In the 1300s, the Genoese, the inhabitants of the Italian kingdom of Genoa,
Yep, go ahead.
began to see the economic potential of sugar plantations. Arab growers have been running such plantations in Egypt.
Where?
Egypt.
They still do. That's why you have what is called Egyptian cotton. They say that's the best cotton. My job provided me an Egyptian cotton sweater for work. The best sweater ever. That thing felt like silk. And it kept me very warm. I could wear that. I could wear that without a coat. That's how strong and beautiful Egyptian cotton is. Very expensive. Well, it can be expensive, but it's got some good cotton. And guess who's picking it over there? We are, and we still are today. It has not changed. It's just kept secret. Go ahead.
Syria.
Syria, they have Afro-Syrians as slaves.
And other areas of the Middle East for some 3 centuries. And the Genoese now copied the Arab model,
The Italians, go ahead.
including importing black slaves from Africa. By the early 1400s, the Genoese growers and traders had begun to buy African slaves through the Trans-Saharan network
From Arabs, go ahead.
to work on plantations on Cyprus and other Mediterranean islands.
You went over that before, right, officer, about the Mediterranean slave trade?
Yes, sir.
You touched on that. So now you know who's involved. You had the Arabs selling us over to Italians. Okay? And the Arabs already has the slaves in their own areas. In Syria, or the Syrians has the slaves. Get that real quick. Was it First Maccabees? 341?
Yes, sir.
Let's go into that. This ain't new. This is not new.
First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 41. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much, with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
And came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. Go ahead, watch.
A power also of Syria.
Syria. Go ahead.
And of the land of the Philistines.
That'd be Palestine today. Go ahead.
Joined themselves unto them.
To buy slaves of us. Nothing new, man. Nothing is new. Only difference here is the Philistines here were actually real Philistines. Now you got Arabs posing as Philistines now, calling themselves Palestinians. But it's the same cast of characters. Same. Go ahead. Justifying the slave trade.
Justifying the slave trade. At first, overt racism played little part in the acquisition of blacks in the Atlantic slave trade. But over time, many whites tried to justify their immoral and brutal buying and selling of other human beings by insisting that blacks were racially, mentally, and morally inferior to whites.
So that right there is called white supremacy. I'll go back to it again. Young boy, I did a presentation about our history. You know, I showed us during the Dark Ages, we were kings, queens, Vikings, all of that stuff. King James, King King Arthur, all of that stuff.
Kenneth the
Nigger. We went into what was it? Moses, Solomon, David. We saw all the Dark Ages images of us, which you see all over here. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. And I go into that, how we fell, we got divided and conquered and sold as slaves, and how they whitewashed our history and so forth, and iconoclasm, all of that. The Negro says to me at the end of all of that, you know, it sounds like you're pushing white supremacy ideology. And I'm like, yo, this dude is, I had to hold myself and say, yo, this guy is real stupid. I said, this guy is in college. I asked him where blacks were in 1670. He had no clue. So I said, if you don't know where we were in slavery, you a college student and don't know your history of people? Then I go into how you were ruling lands and ruled England, the black dominions.
Mm-hmm. The three black divisions.
The black divisions. They called us black oppressors. We had black castles. Now the Elamites that were sitting there amongst the Negroes, they were like,
yeah, bugged out.
Elam was like, wow. Two Elamites were in the class, were in the board conference room. Mm-hmm. And they were like, and there was one Jake that was paying attention, so the Most High may have sent us there for him, because he was very attentive. So I won't knock the whole thing, but the majority of them in the room are just, some of them are just spaced out.
Just dumb, Deacon.
You're just ignorant, man. But the Elamites is like, wow. Then the Elamites is like this. Look at the niggas like,
Yeah.
Do y'all hear what he's saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, ha, ha, ha. This dumb as hell, man. Special ed, man.
Yep.
So I'm going to mention that because this here says that they treated us racially, mentally, and morally inferior to whites. That's white supremacy. What I presented in that presentation, what I presented was not pushing inferiority of whites. It was bashing the doctrine of us being inferior to whites. I was presenting our superiority in everything, us being inventors, us ruling, us having a power, authority, class, a culture, a heritage. That wasn't pushing racial inferiority to white folks. I was pushing racial superiority among our own people when we had it. But his mind was like, so we're not just niggas? Nope, this is racism.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, man. Black people in Christianity, man, a lot of us in the world, we have inherited white guilt. Mm-hmm. We are the defenders of white guilt. Now, real quick, get that real fast. Definition of white guilt. I'm going to show you what that is. Some of y'all, what's that mean, white guilt? We have, through slavery and trauma and colonialism, integration, assimilation, we have inherited white guilt. Read that.
White guilt. Remorse or shame felt by a white person with respect to racial inequality and injustice.
Not guilt. It's fragility. Type in fragility. Remove guilt, fragility. I'll spell it for you.
No, I mean, they protect them from white guilt.
Yes. They protect
So they
them.
comfort them.
Yes.
So they won't feel guilty.
Yes. They protect them from white guilt. Then type in white. You spelled E. FRAGILITY.
Those are university students. Back there.
LI.
It's right there.
Fragility. Yes. I tried to help y'all. Read that.
White fragility.
Watch.
Discomfort and defensiveness on the part of a white person when confronted by information about racial inequality and injustice.
That's what I meant. That's what I wanted.
That's crazy.
That's what black folks have acquired today. They've acquired and embraced white fragility. Discomfort and defensiveness on the part of a white person or people when confronted by information about racial inequality and injustice. That's what black folks have inherited as a race when they follow politics, when they follow religion, when they follow philosophies, when they're in the world, when they're uneducated and they lack a father, no male image in their house, they inherit white fragility. It's not called black fragility. We're already fragile, but white fragility. That's what black folks have inherited today through the process of integration, assimilation, and colonialism.
So let's forget about what happened to us because we don't want Master to feel bad.
Right. You're pushing a white. I'm saying we was in castles. The white man gained ascendancy. I said I didn't write this. We were still in slave ships. We were still being shipped around when that book was published. That book was not meant for our eyes to see. And I mentioned that in the presentation. I said a lot of these books, if they were 1930 or 40s, they were in white-only libraries because you had segregation at the time. So it still wasn't for our eyes. Even when we got emancipated, there were certain books that were published that were not for us to read.
And we couldn't read at that time.
And we couldn't read at the time either.
Right.
Even post-slavery, we couldn't read for the most part. So I'm presenting all these things, and they're like, white supremacy. I'm like, yo, you can't make this up, bro. You cannot make it up. Yeah.
Turn your mic on.
I should have been on.
Can't hear you.
I'm about to say the light is on. Hey, Deke, if I may though, that whole organization was literally built for strengthening black men. So
Yeah,
you get our information, build up the black brother.
Yeah.
Build up the man and strengthen him.
And their identity, it says. In their identity.
In our identity.
That was in their on their website. Mm-hmm. You go to the website of the particular course, I guess the group that they're in.
Smooth.
Yeah, basically it was like an empowerment of identity and culture, and here I am presenting it, and you're like white supremacy. A lot of these things, that to me, and I'm not disrespecting it because I understand brothers trying to come together in some way or another. But a lot of these college courses these days, especially in urban communities, are like pretty much pretty much is what I'm looking for. They're like another way of after school program. You know, after school is over, you go in the lunchroom and you do homework and all that. You all just BSing around till your parents come get you. That's what that pretty much was. It was like a college level of after school program. Yeah. They're not really learning anything. They're kind of just hanging around, talking about a bunch of BS. But they didn't really want to learn anything. I could tell when they walked in the door, they wasn't really trying to learn nothing. They was like, how you doing? They didn't want to learn anything.
They were rushing.
They were dozing off.
You got 10 minutes left.
They wasted 25 minutes and told us we had 10 more minutes left. Dozing off, waking up, dozing off, waking up. It was a sad sight to see, man.
Hey, Deke, that defensiveness that we just read about in that definition, too. Yeah. I remember we was at camp, and we gave a flyer to this brother, and, you know, he was what you would call a hood Negro. He got pants sagging and everything. You give him the flyer, you know, showing him that Christ is black and everything like that. He goes around to the other black people, like, very, very offended. Like, yo, look at this. You know they lying, bro. Ain't no way God looks like that. That's a nigga. Ain't no way he looked like that.
Wow.
He was real. He was about to fight us. I was like, bro,
wow.
Is it so wrong to tell you that you actually come from the lineage of great men? He's like, nah, man, you lying. That's a nigga.
Yeah. The black man feels though he have no purpose.
Yeah. Without
Esau on this planet.
Didn't y'all encounter that in the classroom? You told your young boys, your kings, what they say to y'all again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we did a presentation at a high school. And I noticed that on one of the guidance counselors on the intercom, she said, good morning, kings and queens, right? So I said, all right, dang, I'm going to start off with that, right? So I asked the brothers, I said, do y'all feel like y'all kings? Do y'all see yourself as kings? And one of the young men said, nah, I'm just a student. Yep. I'm just a student. That's it. I don't see myself as no king. I said, what kings do we have, did we have? One of them named King Charles. You know, all they see is white people. That's it. They can't fathom seeing themselves as something greater than what we are today.
D, I remember I was telling you before, too. I went on this clubhouse before, and, of course, it was black women. The whole thing was about them saying that white men are better for them as partners.
You told me that. I remember that.
Yes. So I'm listening and, you know, getting mad and everything. Mm-hmm. And a brother gets on the stage. This is a brother. So he comes on there and he says, listen, look, all that stuff y'all saying about black men, like, the point is, we know it's true. We know white people is better than us. Damn. But you don't got to say it. That was his argument. And they was like, whoa, what are you saying? You saying that you understand that white people are better than you? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I know Black History Month, they just talk about how black people made peanut butter and all that stuff. Like, I know that, you know, white people is better and smarter than us, but you don't got to keep saying it.
Yeah. I brought that up. I said, you can't fit Black history into 28 days. Yeah. I mentioned that also. Yep. They were just like, it just seemed so uninterested in what was being said. And after a while, I just started speaking through them after a while. I said, I'm just going to teach the camera and just put it up. And for those who are watching on YouTube, we'll gain more edification because this is insulting to my intelligence alone. But let's continue reading. We can get to some scriptures.
Mind if I read Hosea 3 and 4?
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to get some scriptures, but that Hosea's good.
Hey, y'all fix that mic on the comments. They say they can't hear the mic. That was
couldn't hear Shatiel?
Okay. Yeah. Y'all fixed it, right? All right.
And that's exactly why it is. Like our image is being stepped on so hard, so much that we can't even see greatness, anything great about us.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Hear that?
Hosea chapter 3 and verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim.
Right. So without an image, meaning that, like, when you watch on TV, the image that they push about us is nothing. We're niggas. We're nobody.
Yeah.
You know, we're gangsters, drug addict, pimps, hoes. So the young kids that's growing up don't see themselves as nothing.
Yeah, it's called an ethnic image. When you examine black people, think about a gangster, a hood drug dealer, violent, sexual, angry, the first thing you think about, single parent household. You don't think about white people. You don't think about Arabs. That's the immediate thought is us. And even our people who are like outside of America, when they do portray black folks over there on the media of outside America, they show the entertainment side of us. Mm-hmm. So when our people over there in Africa, when they do act like us over here, it's the nigga side. They dancing and they twerking and they got the baggy clothes on, the jerseys and the fit hats and the blunt in their mouth. Because our brothers are over there in America, the land of opportunity. That's how you live over there, so that's how we should behave over here. Mm-hmm. And then they perpetrate that false image of us, because all of us don't behave this way, but they put that false ethnic image of us, and they show it to our brothers on the other side of the world, and to stain our image and our reputation. Even though living over here, we see it, which is terrible. Right. But go ahead, read that now.
The Negroid. Now, at first, overt racism played little part in the acquisition of blacks in the Atlantic slave trade. But over time, many whites tried to justify their immoral and brutal buying and selling of other human beings by insisting that blacks were racially, mentally, and morally inferior to whites, and therefore it was all right to enslave them.
Right, they were justified. Go ahead.
Most Europeans came to accept some variation of the argument, as expressed by 19th century French nobleman named Arthur de Gabonou. The Negroid black variety of human is the lowest of the races and stands at the foot of the ladder. The animal shape that appears in the shape of the pelvis is stamped on the Negro from birth and foreshadows his destiny. His intellect will always move within a very narrow circle. We come now to the white peoples. These are gifted with a great deal of intelligence, and history shows us that all civilizations derive from the white race. Wow. That none can exist without its help.
White people, go ahead.
And that a society is great and brilliant only so far as it preserves the blood of the noble group that created it.
White folks. That's how white folks hold themselves in high regard. Mm-hmm. That's why a white man will come on the audience and say, slaves ever existed. And niggas will listen to him. Because they speak with a certain level of pride and arrogance and confidence. That's instilled in them from young. Yeah, where they can say something and it's just true. Yeah. No facts, nothing to justify it. They just say it and niggas is like, it makes sense. Without any evidence of any kind, it becomes, when white folks express an opinion to black people, it becomes arbitrary. It's just, it becomes what it is. The Bible says that the day begins in the evening. No. The day begins in the morning. Arbitrary. We just do it. Because white folks just say so. Now, give me Isaiah 22:18.
And also, that's the reason why they say if you say it often, more often, it becomes a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that movie, The Help. Remember when
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, that was crazy.
When the servant hold that white child and say, "You is great, you is wonderful."
That's The Help, I think.
The Help.
Yeah.
That's
Help.
what I said. Yes.
Yeah.
The Help. So, but she said it to the kid that the kid is believing it. So now you got the black kid on the other hand. You ain't nothing but a nigga. You ain't S-H-I-T. Right. So he grew up believing that's exactly what he is because this is what he kept hearing.
I know it's two things. You got The Help with I am beautiful, I am pretty.
Right.
Other ones, Forrest Whitaker was the butler.
The butler. Right.
The butler.
I'm talking about The Help.
The Help with the women. Yeah. That's, yeah.
Hey, Deke, too, when you talking about how they believe everything that the white man says, that's a part of the curse in Deuteronomy when the Lord says, I will smite them with blindness. Yeah. Remember Elisha, when he said, smite the people with blindness, they believe anything that he said. Yeah. Oh, he's not here. Let's go to Samaria. And they just follow blindly. Mm-hmm. That's that curse.
Yeah. Okay, Isaiah 22:18.
Isaiah chapter 22 and verse 18. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country.
That's the slave ship in the water. He will slowly, violently toss you and turn you into a large country. Go ahead.
There shalt thou die.
There you're going to die. Go ahead.
And there the chariots of thy glory.
All the glory you had riding on chariots as kings and rulers. Go ahead.
Shall be the shame of thy Lord's house.
It's going to be shame for you. Let me see that one more. Read on.
And I will drive thee from thy station.
I will drive you from your station, which was top station, used on the first floor. Now our behinds is in the basement. Read on.
And from thy state shall he pull
thee down. We will lose our first estate. What was, give me Micah 4:8. Show you our original estate.
The book of Micah, chapter 4 and verse 8. And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion.
That's us. The tower of the flock. Go ahead.
Unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion.
The what?
Even the first dominion.
Even the first dominion. That's the first state. Go ahead.
The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem.
The kingdom is the first estate. We lost that station because we decided to adopt heathen fragility. Heathen, not just Edom, everyone's fragility we start to adopt. Everyone's. Heathen guilt. All right, is that it?
Yes, sir. Did you want Lamentations 2 and 1?
No, I don't want that. No. Don't want that. You can, go ahead and pull it. Go ahead and pull it. Yes, go ahead and pull it. That's fine.
Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 1.
I had that written down next to that, but I want to. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger?
God covered us with a cloud in his anger. The cloud is going to the nations that went against us. Go ahead.
And cast down from heaven.
No, I'm saying not only the cloud is the nations, the cloud is darkness. That goes back to what you mentioned earlier about the blindness. Yeah. He covered us in darkness, so we can't see nothing. We can't see our history. We can't see our importance. We can't see our identity. We can't see our God. We can't see nothing. We are under a dark cloud. We're just in darkness.
Gross darkness.
No light at all. No light shine through that cloud at all. You know, when it's real sunny, when a rain cloud come through, it get dark real fast. That's our people today. Go ahead.
And cast down from heaven.
And the Lord did what?
Cast down from heaven.
The Lord cast us down from heaven. We weren't floating around in the sky with wings. We were ruling. We were in our first estate. That's what he said earlier. I will drive you from your estate, from your station. Go ahead, pull you down. Go ahead.
Unto the earth.
I'm going to bring you down with everybody else. You're going to be subject to your subjects. Go ahead.
The beauty of Israel.
Imagine a dog walking his master. Ain't that a bitch? What? That's what's happening. You get the dog walking the master. We walking around with a leash. And the dog's like this. Quiet, get over here. That's the reality we live in today. It's ass backwards.
That's Ecclesiastes 10.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes, read on. That's all right, read on.
And remember not his footstool in the day of his anger.
Go ahead.
The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and have not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah.
Go ahead.
He hath brought them down to the ground.
Brought us down to the ground. That's why I mentioned earlier about a history of our slavery. We didn't know about it. We don't know. We know nothing. But we asked the camp, why you vote for Kamala Harris? What are her policies? Because she's black. Okay, fine. What were her policies, though? I don't know. I just voted for her because she's black. Read it again.
The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and have not pitied.
We're destroyed. We are destroyed people. That's why there's an expression, we're in the belly of the beast. You get chewed up, swallowed down, you're in the belly of the beast. Go ahead.
He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah.
Go ahead.
He hath brought them down to the ground.
Come on.
He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof.
We're polluted means we're perverse. We're defiled. Twerking, shooting guns, pants hanging off our behind, dressed half naked, balloon pop shows, dating, promiscuous, diseased, broken homes, torn up communities, uneducated, in and out of college, we're stupid as hell. We are a polluted people with no prince, no king, no image. Destroyed. Give me your Black Holocaust. How much time we got before break?
About 30.
All right, so make sure I'm over time. Black Holocaust by S.E. Anderson. So the white man sees himself as God. And what we were, he sees himself as today. Black Holocaust for Beginners by S.E. Anderson. Very, very good book.
Black Holocaust. What page, D?
Page 30. You have to skim through because there's a lot. I'm not reading all of that. It's a lot. Go ahead.
Even before the downfall of the Egyptian Empire, other African civilizations had been trading with Arabia and India, and their cultures had begun to merge. Today, for example, there are about 100 million identifiable Africans called the Dravidians and the Desayu people.
The Dasu people. Now, the Dravidians were originally the black Elamites. Now, of course, some of us became Dravidians also, mingling with them. But for the most part, Dravidians are the ancient Persians, pretty much, or the original East Indians. The darker ones, the better. The darker, that's Dravidians. But Israel also intermingled among them as well and became that too. Go ahead.
Living in southwestern India.
See, I've said before, southwestern India. Go ahead.
The Gange River was either named after a famous African hero or is a variation on the Arabic word for black people, Zanj.
Zanj. Go ahead.
Swahili.
So the Gange, probably pronounced Ganges River. Go ahead.
Swahili is a language born out of hundreds of years of cultural, social, and economic interaction between Arab and East African people.
Now, the language Swahili is spoken among our people, and I believe in Zambia and
Kenya speaks Swahili.
Not that one. It's Zambia and some other places. Malawi, and the word Malawi is in Swahili. It means the Levites. Okay, the word Malawi is next to Zambia. In Swahili, the word Malawi means Maloya. It means the Levites. That's the Levi is found throughout Zambia, and Malawi people are the same, pretty much. So those are Levites in that region there. That's why I mentioned Swahili here. But go ahead, continue.
The term Zanj.
Go ahead.
Or Zanj and Azania originally were Arabic words meaning African.
Meaning black. Go ahead. Zanj means black. Go ahead.
Initially, it meant non-Ethiopian Africans and land of the black slaves.
Wow. Or land of the black slaves. Bildad el Sudan. They called it Bildad el Sudan, or land of the black slaves. Go ahead.
But today, like black, African, or third world, millions of Africa's oppressed sons and daughters have...
Oppressed what?
Oppressed sons and daughters.
Sons and daughters. Because the black men never oppressed the black woman at any point in time. Never. Never had the power to. Go ahead.
Have given Azania another more politically and racially positive meaning when they refer to a post-apartheid South Africa as Azania.
Continue.
A change in the relationship between Arabs and East Africans.
The Arab slave trade. I have not forgotten about Ishmael. I'm still on you. Go ahead.
Began to set in around 650 AD, a time when Europe was a third world country that would wait another 200 years before being introduced to civilization by the Moors of Africa. Europe, for all its arrogance, was one of the last places on earth to be civilized. From 632 AD on, Muhammad's army of Islam unified the peoples of the Arabian Peninsula, the Middle East, and much of Africa. Although the peoples of Arabia and the Middle East were sometimes unified by force, that was nothing compared to what befell the people of Africa. The Arab slave trade. The Arab slave trade lasted from 652 AD
to now, but go ahead.
Arab-Nubian slave treaty until 1890.
Until now. Go ahead. That's publicly, but covertly, it's still going on. Go ahead.
It didn't truly end until 1911.
See? It didn't end. Then other books we have where it says 1982. So no, it didn't end. It's still going on today, just covertly. Go ahead.
Africans captured in wars by other Africans were sold.
Hamites. Israelites captured in wars by Hamites, pretty much, because the author doesn't know any better. Go ahead.
Were sold into slavery for money or things, porcelain, silk, and other fine fabric from the Asia that powerful and corrupt African nobility desired. Many of the enslaved Africans sold at the infamous Ujiji market were brought from regions far to the west of Lake
Tanganyika.
Tanganyika
today is Tanzania. This goes back to that word Azania earlier about blacks. Tanzania, I believe it was Tanzania today. Tanzania. That's what Tanganyika was called. Tanganyika now is called Tanzania today. Go ahead.
During the crossing of Lake Tanganyika, the slaves were made to sit double up in the bottom of canoes.
These are called dhows. Go ahead.
So closely packed that by the time Ujiji was reached, a quarter had succumbed. Although
they died. Go ahead.
Although the distance across the lake was scarcely 200 miles.
That's still a long time. That's still a lot. Go ahead.
Damn.
Near the slave market lay an uncultivated piece of ground, the cemetery, where not only the dead but the dying too were cast. Hyenas, very numerous, gorged on human flesh and were so sated that bodies were left half devoured.
I mean, they were so full that the bodies are half eaten of our own people, us, the Arabs threw us to hyenas. There's the slave trade of Eastern Africa. We're going into that now. East Africa, go ahead.
Case, slave trader, said Ben Habib, in the mid-19th century, took 300 slaves from the town of Mayina, west of Lake Tanganyika. Only 50 arrived alive in Unyanyambi.
Out of the 300, only 50 survived. So 250 died on the way. This guy, Ishmael's the worst, bro. So I feel no pity for them. Go next page. Let's go.
Given the reality that the Muslim slave trade was 2 to 1 women to fill the demand for concubines.
The concubines, they did things to. What's going to say it? Go ahead.
We can reasonably assume that many of the leaders of the resistant movement among enslaved Africans were women. This gives us a new and different perspective on slavery and slave revolts. It was not just about the destruction of African manhood. It was also about the destruction of African womanhood.
They booked the men and booked women. They castrate the men and they would violate our women. Go ahead, read.
The availability of concubines, moreover, offered a Muslim man a measure of relief from the unhappiness of a marriage that was sexually ungratifying before purchasing a slave whom he intended to use as a concubine.
Because the Muslims had certain laws, which is crazy, on what positions you could have your wife in. Only one. You couldn't do it your wife a certain kind of way sexually. But when it came to our women, they could do whatever they wanted, whatever they thought of to do. They could do to our women and our women alone. They could not do to their own women. Go ahead.
A Muslim man was careful to make sure that she was responsive to his amorous advances. This could be managed in the privacy of special stalls that were set aside in slave markets for the close examination of female slaves by prospective buyers.
They were raping them. That's what it means. They were raping them. Go ahead.
Here, men would take liberties with these hapless girls, 12 to 18 years
12
old.
to 18. I do not care about Palestine. I don't care at all. Happy trails. 12 to 18-year-olds were being raped by these Muslims, these Ishmaelites, these Arabs.
They were following their prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, Allah allowed it. Allah sat back on a tea break and watched that shit go on. Right? He was on tea break, right? He was under a bridge. He was on a journey. Where was he at? Does he have an explanation for why this happened? Does he explain why that took place? Does Allah explain why that happened? Does he give us a detail? Or he wrote it down on paper somewhere? Continue.
In a manner they would not dream of when courting a Muslim woman they wish to marry.
They would not do to their women what they did to our women that were from ages 12. And understand, that 12 there, that's wrong. It's from 6 and up. You could be married to a girl that's 6 and up, not 12. So it was younger than that. 12 is a compliment. They went from 6 and up, violating young little girls. Next page.
And Deacon, they still doing it to our women.
They have not stopped doing it, man. Even in the hood, in the ghetto, women can't afford diapers. They'll come downstairs real quick. You want these diapers? You got to pay for them with your, I got ways you could pay for this without money.
Look at those images. Too.
Yeah, so I want y'all to see. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this.
There you go.
Look at it. Look at it. Continue.
The rough census below gives the population in the millions. Africa, 1650, 100 million.
That's why I said in the slave trade, they say you're 12 million. No. They're counting one side of the world. They're not counting the other side of the world. It was in the hundreds of millions slave trading took place. Hundreds of millions. Go ahead.
1750, 100 million. 1850, 100 million. 1900, 120 million. Europe, 103 million. 1750, 144 million. 1850, 274 million. 1900, 423 million.
Go down. You will notice. This read.
You would notice that both Europe and Asia roughly quadrupled 400% in size during the 350-year period between 1650 and 1900. Yet, during the same period of time, Africa's population increased by only 20%. See page 155 for the real significance of those numbers.
Now, I want you to understand something. Listen to me very carefully. Under Islamic law, if the Arab or Muslim came across the people that were not Muslim and they captured the men in war, they were allowed to sleep with their wives while they were alive. Allah allowed it. That's in the Quran. Or the Hadith. One or the other. But it's in there. But it's in the Quran belief also. That you are allowed to sleep with a man's wife. So the Quran, your Allah, he allows adultery. He condones it. So I'm just curious as to why y'all choose to serve this God. I don't understand it. Well, I understand why Israel does, but Israel, who are watching, I don't know why y'all do this. Maybe because either y'all choose to turn your eye to this, a blind eye to this. I don't. What's happening to those people over there in Palestine is what they were doing to us during this time. The raping of the women, raping of the men, taking over of the lands. It's nothing different. Y'all would call it karma. We call it God. We call it justice. It's judgment. I feel nothing. When the news crying, holding their babies, some of us felt some kind of way because you can only imagine if that was you and your child. But understand, these women I'm sure they had families too. I'm sure they had children. They didn't care about their babies or their husbands or their brothers or their fathers or their mothers. They didn't care. Now, some of y'all will say, well, it wasn't them. Okay, well, that doesn't change anything. Regardless, it's the same people. Let's continue. I feel nothing. Continue.
And the majority of the time, too, when those things was happening, the husband probably was right there watching their wife being humiliated,
Yeah.
children being raped,
Yeah.
and they had no power to do anything.
Continue. Read the Saeed.
The Saeed was my neighbor and was very dark. He used to carouse with the young men in the camp, one of whom was as dark as he was, with a thick nose and lips, and a Negroid Mizuna appearance. The Saeed had the foulest smelling armpits of anybody. They were jesting together one day, and the Saeed said to him, "You are a Zanj in your nose and lips." Whereas the youth replied to the Saeed, "And you are Zanj in your color and armpits."
They're going back and forth. Go ahead. Let us be clear.
Let us be clear. It was the Arabs who set the foundation for exporting Africans, for taking the people of Africa to strange and horrible lands.
Let us be clear. It was the Arabs who set the foundations of exporting Israelites, for taking the people of Africa to strange and horrible lands. The Israelites were the forerunners of the slave trade, along with the Portuguese to follow after. Go ahead.
But Africans were not considered capital by the Arabs as they were by capitalists. It was true that many Arabs saw Africans as inferior human beings.
Watch this.
Destined for bondage.
How they know? How Ishmael know that we were destined for bondage? Lamentations 2. Lamentations 2. How'd they know we were destined for bondage? How'd they know? We read chapter 2, verse 1 and 2 earlier. Now we're going to jump a few verses up. Verse 15.
Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee.
It's going to explain who the all is in the next verse. Go ahead.
They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem.
Look at them, look at them, look at them. Now today, they'll ride around in tour buses and mock us in the ghettos today. Like they do in Harlem. They have a tour bus, and they ride around in the ghettos and slums and take pictures and smile while they see us in these decrepit communities and areas. Go ahead.
Saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
These people are God's people? This is what has become of God's people? Go ahead.
The joy of the whole earth?
These guys are the joy of the earth that God loved? Go ahead.
All thine enemies have
All
opened.
who?
All thine enemies.
All of them. All thine enemies. Go ahead.
Have opened their mouth against thee.
They speak evil of us. Call our land we lived in the land of black slaves, the Zanj, the Lamlams, the Fulans, the people over there. Fulani over there, Fulani over there. The Kafirs over there. The Kyros over there. The Kunlans over there. The niggas over there. Them Spics over there. Illegal aliens over there. All our enemies speak ill of us. You know what the illegal alien over here is? Europeans.
Right.
The white man has no right to call anyone an illegal anything regarding America. Ever. Read on.
All
Again,
thine
verse
enemies
16.
All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth.
Go ahead.
They say, we have swallowed her up.
Go ahead.
Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it.
Where? In our Bibles. Because Ishmael read our Bible, Edom read our Bible, the Hamites read our Bible, Moab read our Bible, Ammon read our Bible. Them Kaisers, Israelis read our Bible too. The Spaniards read our Bible, Columbus read our Bible. That's how he got over here. Vasco da Gama read our Bible. That's how he came over to India. They have found and saw that once we sinned against our God and got kicked out of our land and were exiles and refugees in foreign lands, we were destined for bondage. They saw it. They knew it because the Bible told them so. The Bible told us so first. We said, the hell with you, nigga. We ain't listen to nobody. We gonna do our own thing. Do our own thing. We ain't listen to nobody. Do what we want to do. The hell with you prophets. They listen to you prophets, you niggas. They listen to y'all. We're going to do us. We're going to follow Mullet. We're going to follow Milcom, Ashtoreth, Baal, White Jesus, Zeus, Odin, Jupiter. We're going to serve them. Queen of Heaven, Isis, Diana. God? Nah, we're good. We good over here. Are we good now? So the nation said we are destined for bondage. Once they lost our land, remember the Palestinians took over Israel and all the top of Africa. They said, these guys aren't in their land no more. They're forsaken. We can destroy them. They're divided among themselves. They're fighting among themselves. They all divided. Look at them. They don't get along. They hate each other. Oh, man. This is the day we've seen. This is it. Destined for bondage. Ishmael knows who we are. They call us Ahal al-Katab. Ahal al-Katab. Ahal means the populace or the people. Al as in the. Katab as in book. People of the book. Those are the people of the Bible. They call our Bible the book because it is the book of God, not theirs. They don't call their Quran the book because that ain't no book. That's a bunch of conjecture and opinions and stuff. I don't want to curse. Stuff. Anyway, so I said we were destined for bondage. Come on.
And lots of money was made capturing, preparing, selling, and buying Africans. But this was done within the tributary economic framework. And many of the Arabs were themselves Africans.
Then they were black. Many of the Arabs themselves were black because remember, Abraham birthed the Ishmaelites. Abraham birthed the Israelites through Isaac. So they were black too, but they knew we were not the same. That's what that commentary over here on the side about the Saeed. He said, you're Zanj and your face and lips. He said, so are you, but you stink. Because the Arabs and the Negroes didn't get along. Both of us are black, but we ain't like each other. Because they were Ishmael, we were Israel. We did not get along like that. Go on, let's go to the next page, 35. So a lot of the original Arabs were very dark, but they were not our people. I'm gonna show you that what Esau referred to the Ishmaelites and the Hamites as. I'm gonna show you that the Esau knew that we weren't the same. Well, I'm gonna show you. Read.
Arab literature was strewn from negative, even racist references to dark-skinned Africans.
Arab literature, because they give reference to Muhammad as being very light, rosy color, red. They reference him as a white man. They call Muhammad a white. I think he was a white Arab. He might have been a Turk, for all I know. But they say that he was white. They say that Muhammad was white. And that if you called him black, they would kill you. I say it again. If you call Muhammad black, they would kill you. It was an insult. But somehow, black folks as Muslims, we all come together, get along. You can't make this up. Malcolm X was misled. He was misled. And I think over time he realized it. But by that time, he was already in too deep. That's why he said we're the lost sheep. He said in his own videos, we're the lost sheep. We're the ones in Psalms 83. He knew that already. He knew who we were, but Islam was so much more appealing and larger and more popular. He went with that. I understand. The spirit was not there, but the flesh and bones was there. Ezekiel 37, right? 37, yeah, I'm right. Yeah.
The blacks do not earn their pay by good deeds and are not of good repute. The children of a stinking Nubian black, God put no light in their complexion.
See, that's their writing. That's the literature. Go ahead.
This was written by an Arab poet during the late 600 AD.
A Muslim, most likely. Go ahead.
Satirizing the African governor of Sistan in 671 AD. But ironically, it also referred to Ubadayallah, the son of Abu Bakr, one of the African companions of the Prophet Muhammad.
Wow. So Abu Bakr came, I believe, after Muhammad. And you had Uthman and you had somebody else. There's like 4 of them. But Abu Bakr's son was black because the Arabs are dark. So the white Arabs oftentimes mocked the dark ones. Okay, go ahead. They had colorism because remember, Ishmael and Edom mixed together. So they had that colorism issue with them even then, like Elam does. Go ahead.
The spiritual head of all Arabs, who was apparently not blinded by the racism that afflicted many of his followers.
Abu Bakr didn't have a problem with that because he was black. Most likely he was black too. Go ahead.
Sharaf al-Zaman, Tahir Mavazi, makes it clear that blackness by 1120 AD in parts of the Arab world connoted negativity. Mm-hmm. Blackness, though a defect, has its use in some instances.
Though a defect, they called it. Go ahead.
Such as when the government agents dress in black in order to inspire the subjects with awe and fear.
Wow.
There are very few societies that don't consider rape as part of the privilege of conquest or one of the tools of conquest. The Arabs were no exception.
Yep.
They consider women inferior to men and raped African women.
Yep, our women. Go ahead.
With all the humiliation that implies.
They did all, I said before, they did terrible things to our sisters that they would never do to their own women. Whatever sexual thought they had in their mind, whatever came to their head to do, nasty, they said, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it to their women, not our own.
They push that picture back up. Look, they have a drawing right there.
You go up?
Yep, right there. Look.
Yep. Yeah.
You see that?
Yep.
One holding the sister's foot.
Yep. Examining her.
It's sticking something. Yep, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever he's doing. Go down. Lady, he's holding her thigh. Go down.
By the same token, Arab men often married African women and allowed some of them to become part of the royal families as equals. That's why you'll find hundreds of thousands of African featured people throughout Asia Minor, the Middle East today. An Arab world, an enslaved African could become free if he or she worked off their price, and their children in general were not enslaved.
Occasionally. Go next page. Go to page 36. We're gonna take a break after this last page here. Go ahead.
How did Africans become enslaved? The Arab took advantage of regional wars in Africa to buy captives from the victor. They also used the old divide and conquer technique.
I'm telling you, bro, the Edomites and the Arabs always saw it. They saw it. They saw division among us. Negro nonsense among us. They said, this is the time. We have found it. We have seen it. They're destined for bondage. They're divided among themselves. They're not serving their God. It's time. It's time to strike while the iron is hot. Go ahead.
They worked one group against the other.
That's the white men did over here on this side of the world in the Americas. They worked one Native American group against the other group. Go ahead.
And took or killed the best and strongest.
See what they did? You see what they did? They would help one side conquer the other, then kill the strongest of the winning side and enslave them. That's why I ask the question all the time: if Negro or Africans sold our own people, where are the Africans or Negroes walking around today with the old money? Like the white families have. Where are they? Where are the old ancient black families that walk around with slave money, living in mansions and have old money that extend to their grand and great grands and grands and grands? Nowhere, because they conquered and killed the ones that were involved. They got enslaved too. Read on.
The Arabs eventually, especially from the 1400s onward, with the help of the ruthless Portuguese.
With the help. Oh, man. The Arabs with the help. I didn't know that was even in here. With the help of what?
The ruthless Portuguese.
Edomites, the Israelites and the Edomites, go ahead.
Began to raid the coastal towns.
They began to raid together. Coastal Negro towns, Israelite towns, go ahead.
Mombasa
was one.
Kenya.
In Kenya, they went and raided Kenya.
Kilwa, Sofala, and
Mogadishu, go ahead.
And also ventured hundreds of miles inland.
Why? Because remember, our people, we knew that the coast was exposed. All they needed was a ship to attack us on. So we would flee further inland to find safety. but it didn't always work because the Arabs were already inland. So the Portuguese came from the ships from the coast, met up with the Arabs, and they went inland together and overthrow us. Together. Watch, you're going to say it. Where? Go ahead.
And also ventured hundreds of miles inland to what we today call Uganda.
Our congregations in there.
Malawi.
That's Levites.
Rwanda.
Hotel Rwanda is a movie.
And Burundi.
Burundi's our people also. Go ahead. Your boy Abaddon over here, family from there. Go ahead.
To capture Africans who were peacefully minding their own business.
So the Israelites and the Edomites got together and enslaved us. Read that right there.
They remembered that when the Arabs first came to the coast of Zanzibar.
Zanzibar, go ahead.
The whole country was densely populated.
Because that was the land of the blacks. They called Zanzibar as the region of the blacks. We were all in there, happy, minding our own business. Zanzibar is beautiful. If you Google the images of Zanzibar, it is a beautiful place. That water is clear as glass. The hell with freaking the Caribbean. Or whatever. Look at that place is gorgeous. We had that island. It's an island, I believe.
Yes.
Densely. Pull the images up.
Pull up Zanzibar.
Densely populated.
We got the real definition of Zanj.
Yeah, he's black.
Nah, he got some.
Something else? Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Y'all playing games. Y'all holding back over there, man.
You might want to check this out, D.
Sitting over there in silence.
Right
you might want to check this out.
Wow, angel. Okay. In Creole means angel. Wow. Wow, what's the same? The black angel makes sense.
They're like, nah, just call him black.
Just call him black.
But this is Zanzibar. This is what Deacon is talking about right here.
Wow, man. So when America's destroyed a nuclear fire and flame, what about the beach? What are we going to do? Listen, Africa going to be just fine. We got islands on the other side of the world. America was pushed over here for a reason. The old world's going to be around. We're going to be having this. Look at the water here. Look at this.
Hey, D, remember they showed that in the movie 2012? Remember the movie 2012?
Yeah, that's an old joint.
Yeah, they showed that Africa was... civilization started
that's
over.
Everybody
ran there. Because Esau knows.
Esau, yep. Everybody went there.
But that's Zanzibar. It was pronounced Zanzibar. As in the region of the angels, really, in Creole, or region of the blacks. Okay? So we go back to that. We're going to take a break after this page. Or we're done already. Are we done already, I think? Read this right here.
They remembered that when the Arabs, first came to the coast of Zanzibar, the whole country was densely populated.
Watch.
But now, it was necessary to go about 18 days' journey inland before finding a village.
So Edom had to go further in. Read it. It says Mr.
Benin's statement to a Major General Rigby.
What year?
1875 to 76.
So listen, man, we found blacks here. We gotta go further inland. So the Portuguese already attacked the coastal areas we had in the coast because it was easier. Because dock the boat in the port and conquer. But some of us said, hell no, you guys is crazy. We're gonna go further inland, but the Arabs is there. So wherever we ran, we wasn't safe, like the curses say. The curses shall pursue you and overtake you. So with that, we're gonna take a quick break. Those of y'all want to call us, call in. All right, call in at Zoom call, or you can text us at 267-702-6121. That's 267-702-6121. So stay tuned. We'll be back from the break.
Parce que nous ne connaissons pas, nous devons encourager tout le monde qui est dans la fiction. Levez-nous pour lever. C'est ça que les réponses ça. Et ça vous fait tout. Si monsieur qui est madame, couché à terre, qu'est-ce qu'on va faire, monsieur madame? On fait le mal? Comment on fait qu'on nous fait le mal? Seulement qui a bon conscience, c'est ça seulement que
So the Most High sent us here to set liberty to the captives here on the island of St. Kitts. We had the opportunity to go to Her Majesty's prison where the word of God was taught. The brothers learned self-identity. They learned who they are according to the Bible, and that we must come back to God, keeping his laws in the faith of Christ.
Many of you are very too damn comfortable on this island, first and foremost. Destruction is near the door. For you so-called brothers and sisters here on the island of St. Kitts who are too damn
other nations, the so-called white man enslaved our people here, and they sold off the rest of St. Kitts to the East Indians, all right?
In 68 square miles, you got fornication, adultery. So don't project your wickedness on my children.
Black brothers and sisters on the island of St. Kitts and Nevis that worship and serve a white Jesus that they cannot find in the Bible.
God is building his army. Can we get that, please?
God is in here.
Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37. That's the problem. Some of you men are not even equipped to make the military of your own nation.
That's the land of St. Kitts. That's
Right.
Bible prophecy.
Yep.
You all here on the show being told right now that you are the 12 tribes of Israel.
It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
So we're coming here as IUIC, we want to show that example on how the rest of you should be. Don't marvel at the unity that you see among us. We're no different from you. We come out of your communities. We're the same people that live right beside you. If we can organize, what the hell is wrong with you?
The Hebrews Journal is your source for insight into the current conditions and challenges faced by the 12 tribes of Israel. We highlight their resilience and the ongoing efforts in building a united nation. As the prophets blitz Babylon the Great, it's the Hebrews Journal that is there to jot down answers to the questions the world may have. Engage with thought-provoking articles, gain wisdom from notable leaders, and enjoy a comic section designed for all ages. The Hebrews Journal is more than just a magazine. It's a movement, a community of passionate individuals who together bring you the news from our world. We are now expanding our team and seeking talented individuals like yourself. If you're a graphic designer, article writer, have experience creating AI art, or are a skilled video editor, we want you on board. Those with experience writing in other languages are welcome to assist us. After all, the Hebrews Journal is international, and your experience is a plus. So join us in making an impact. The Hebrews Journal. News from our world.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless. Captain Severus here. The Lord was able to open up the doors for us. We hit up Philip Gallier, right? So we was able to hit up 14 classrooms.
Time's up. Temps arrivé, est-ce que nous prêts pour avancer? Pas oublier tout ça, nous t'es fait dans le passé. Pas crier, c'est les récompenses qui arrivaient.
Yo. Back from the break. What's up? Oh. Yeah, oh, God. 2 people. Nothing. It's just down to 4. All right. So.
3.5.
Huh?
3.5.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're back. I'm not even going to do that, man.
Damn.
Let's go back to page 36. We got 2 more to go. 37, 38. Then we get some more scriptures. 37, then 38. The Agas. The
Agas. The centrality of eunuchs in Muslim society.
The what?
The centrality of eunuchs in Muslim society.
So they're called the Agas, the eunuchs of Muslim society. Go ahead.
Castrated male slaves, Agas, or eunuchs, were central to familial peace, protection, and order in many wealthy Muslim households. Eunuchs were considered so valuable that they sold for almost 10 times more than non-castrated male slaves, African or European. In spite of their high price, eunuchs, popularly referred to as khadim or teacher or tutor, were seen by the hundreds of thousands in many parts of Muslim society. Eventually, the craft or surgery became the profitable hallmarks of Coptic priests throughout Upper Egypt, the Sudan, and Ethiopia. They would amputate the scrotum and penis of 8 to 12 years old.
Oh, man. So they were cutting us. They were cutting our balls off and the penis, some part of the penis off, all the penis off entirely between the ages of 8 and 12. And many of us did not survive this. There was a very, very low ratio survival after that operation or craft it's talking about. You got that information, Yakin?
Yeah, I'm about.
We're gonna pull that joint. I'm sure that they're still around today. These children here, they're I'm gonna show you. Go ahead.
African boys so completely that it was called leveling with the abdomen.
Leveling with the abdomen. They cut us down to the nub. They chopped us down to the nub. That's what it means, leveling with the abdomen.
So it was flush with your abdomen.
Yeah, it was just, Go ahead.
Over the hundreds of years and hundreds and thousands of operations, the survival rate ranged from 1 in 10 to 1 in 30.
1 in 10 to 1 in 30. Go ahead.
The young boys of Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso's our people too. Go ahead.
Were the most sought after because of the extreme poverty and orphaned children due to the constant attacks upon their people.
By Arabs and Hamites. Go ahead.
But they also came from Darfur, Kordofan, Dongola, and towns in Ethiopia, earlier known as Abyssinia.
So they took our people from those areas and made them eunuchs. And they got those eunuchs today they've grown old. Those kids, they grew older. They're alive today. And they protect Muhammad's graveyard today. They live there. They protect this tomb. From what? I don't know. But they protect this tomb today. These Agas. Go to the black heart. They need, go up here. Let me see. We here. They need to.
The need to procure eunuchs outside Muslim lands sprang from the requirements of Islamic law. This very law, which forbade Muslims from reducing another Muslim to slavery, understandably barred them from making him into a eunuch. Islamic law, in addition, prohibited Muslims from performing the operation. And as a result, castrating young boys 8 to 12 years old became a task that fell to non-believers to be done in their own country. The unending stream of desexed boys who were walked or transported by boat or caravan from their native lands in Europe and later Africa, because African boys' survival rate was higher and there were more of them, arrived ready-made in Muslim countries. Maury Gordon, Slavery in the Arab World.
I read the book all the time, Slavery in the Arab World by Murray Gordon. He's quoting Murray Gordon's book. These books can be cross-referenced. Now, give me Daniel 1. Daniel chapter 1.
I got the 2 files ready.
You got it?
Yeah.
Set them up already?
Yep.
Daniel 1, read verse 1. This ain't new. Our children, young boys being castrated, this ain't new. Daniel 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God.
Verse 3.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs.
The master of his eunuchs. Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs. Nebuchadnezzar had eunuchs. Come on.
That he should bring certain of the children of Israel.
He should bring certain of the children of Israel whom were made eunuchs. Go ahead.
And of the king's seed.
Of the king's seed. These are the royal lineage of Judah. Go ahead.
And of the princes. Children in whom was no blemish.
Great skin.
But well favored. And skillful in all wisdom.
Who was smart. Go ahead.
And cunning in knowledge.
And cunning in knowledge. Go ahead.
And understanding science. And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace. And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. Now among these were of the children of Judah.
Among these princes of the royal line of Judah, the royal lineage, who were made eunuchs, was who?
Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
So the children of Judah were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They were made eunuchs in captivity. Nothing new. Daniel was made a eunuch. The three only children were eunuchs of the royal lineage of David. So it's not because this is nothing new. We got a Zoom call?
Your screen is right.
All right.
He's on a drive-through.
I don't think he sees us.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, bro. Shalom.
Hey,
What's
shalom,
up, Bless? How you doing?
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, listen, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make this quick. My name is Jeremiah Ben Israel. I'm from originally Mississippi, but I live in Los Angeles, and I'm a writer. And it's funny because I'm working on a project inspired by none other than you guys. All praises to Most High for the bishop and all the officers, deacons, and captains. I really appreciate y'all. But long story short, when you said the word Creole, because I just got in the car and I turned the program on and I jumped and I was like, Jesus, I just got a book, literally just got a book that is expounding on the topic about how they classify Creoles as Jews that they got from Wayuda. And the book came from Louisiana State University, 1745.
Wow. The older the
And
better.
I'm trying to figure out, how can I give it to you? I want to give this to you immediately.
All praises, bro. Okay, all praises, man. Yes, sir. We have a website. We have a we figured out how to send it.
If you can email us and we'll discuss how you can send
Yes.
it over.
So
email us at iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org and we'll speak with you concerning that.
You say it again for him.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay, all praise. So you got the email, right? You gonna write it down?
Hold on a second.
Yeah, give me a second. All praises. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
Spirit is moving.
I'm sorry, I was doing two things
No,
at one
sir.
time.
No need to apologize. We appreciate the call.
We forgive you, brother.
No need to apologize.
I'm up here being black, getting chicken. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, hey, I figured you in a drive-through somewhere.
Hey.
I was like, yo, getting chicken.
Hey.
He waiting on some food.
Yo, when you send that book, send some chicken with it.
Don't let the
Okay,
grease go in there.
IUIC Philadelphia.
Yeah, iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org.
At israelunite.org. Okay, I got it. Locked in.
Yes, sir. All praises.
I really appreciate. Yes, sir. I appreciate the classes, y'all, and I hope one day, Lord willing, to be joining y'all soon.
Yes, sir.
That's my desire, man, to pick up my sword and fight beside y'all, because there's nothing left in this life to be excited about anymore, except this. I want to go home.
Yes, sir.
And I want to join you, man. I mean, I watch every Sabbath. I'm dealing with a certain officer at IUIC LA, Officer Eleazar. All praises for him. I check in with him every week. He checks in on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I run my own business and I write. And like I said, I'm working on this project. And I'm going to shut up after this. But so I was born in 86.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was born in 49. My grandfather was born in 1912.
Oh, wow.
His father was born in 1863. He was a slave.
Right.
So we have land to this day in our name, and all praises to the Most High. And because of y'all, I was able to find the records on it dating back.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that they classified him as a Benjamite that migrated from the islands of Jamaica to Mississippi.
Wow.
As a Buffalo soldier. They cleared out our brothers. Unfortunately, the Mississippi Delta in the north, they cleared out our brothers. They cleared out the Choctaws and they cleared out the Chickasaws. And a lot of black people in that area today don't know that they are the Chickasaw Indians. How do you make 1.5 million Native Americans disappear in less than a year? You reclassify them as Negroes.
Yeah.
You hear that also, Jez?
You take their land and then you put them on plantations.
Damn.
That's how they did it.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's how they did it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
But
sir.
anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. I want to hear more. I hope I didn't come in at the beginning.
No, sir. No, sir. Our praises,
Okay.
man.
Yes,
No, I appreciate
Yes,
the call.
sir.
I appreciate the contribution. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
I love the information
Hey,
you just
thanks,
gave us,
brother.
man. All
Thanks,
praises, yo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yo,
sir.
yo, you
Thank
can
man. I appreciate it.
call in
Yes, sir.
anytime, all right?
Yes, sir. Shalom. Most on God's bless.
I
Thank
will.
Most High God's
Thank you.
bless.
Most
Yes.
High in Christ bless.
Hang that phone up now.
All right.
Yeah, right, Jez. You talking about you, Jez? All right, Jez. It's family, man. It's family. It's
Yo,
talking about God.
His
All praise, brother.
his grandfather was getting your ancestors, man.
Hey, the blessing on hey, Dick, the blessing on Levi, huh?
Damn.
Yeah, the blessing on Levi.
Damn.
Let's get back to the show, brother.
Yep.
You got the
Mysteries
you got
being
the book.
revealed. What's in the
Most
dark
High.
will surely come into the light.
Yeah.
You're a reclassified Negro.
But,
Damn.
but your family was near Texas too, near
Let's
Mississippi.
read Nehemiah 4 Nehemiah 4 and 7. Cause of confusion spreading in the room. We got a text now. Okay, people coming in, man. Let's go.
Oh, man. See that, man? The blessing on Levi. Nobody want to talk about that.
No, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Hey, I mentioned it.
Yeah, I know.
Ain't got time for that, man. Ain't got no time for no damn sisters that, man. We all that, man.
All right.
Wow.
So, Shalom Leadership. The book, The Mismeasure of Man, by Stephen J. Gould, discusses racial science that Esau used to justify slavery. One branch was actually called Negroology. One interesting fact that he'd observed was that this science always resurfaced during elections or when major political policies were being put in place. Most likely.
Wow. Wow. Okay. No surprise. No surprise at all. That goes right back to a Bishop Yaltup's class yesterday about the political system and so forth and how it all ties back into keeping us destroyed and suppressed and depopulating us. And I also touched on it also in the class I went over regarding the Negro family and how also Bishop showed the brothers saying how they spent a lot of time in the 1970s. No, not the brothers. Edomites showed how they spent a lot of time in the 1960s, 70s monitoring our populace and making sure we stayed, pretty much the abortion started suppressing it, right? Suppressing us and so forth. And the book that I brought out was also 1960s, talk about how the households are being reversed and and the male figure image was being destroyed and women were taking on a dominant role. So it all makes sense, man. It all makes sense.
Design.
It's all about design. It's all about divine design. This Esau is a malevolent race of people. Not just them, all the nations, but specifically them. Nehemiah 4, verse 7.
We're going to get them articles. And
Oh, yes. Get that. Yeah, get that first before I even jump on.
Let's go to the second one I posted
regarding
first.
the Agas.
And then we'll go to the first one. Just the first paragraph. Not that one. Yeah, that one first. Just the top paragraph. And then we'll go to the other one. Or abstract and this thought-provoking interdisciplinary work.
Oh, God, some big words. So see what happens. Who's going? Oh, just got it. Okay. I thought that was done for a second. It was a real problem for a moment.
Dreams that you had you could
Who did that?
Yeah. Perfect timing.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, IT. Thank you. Go ahead.
Publication year 1995. The book, in this thought-provoking interdisciplinary work, Sean Merman describes how eunuchs, as a category of people who embodied ambiguity, both defined and mediated critical thresholds of moral and physical space in the households, in the palace, and in the tomb of pre-modern Islamic society. The author's central focus is on the sacred society of eunuchs who guarded the tomb of the Prophet Muhammad in Medina for over 6 centuries and whose last representatives still perform many of their time honored rituals to this day. Through Marmon's account, the sacred eunuchs of Medina become historical guides into uncharted dimensions of Islamic ritual, political symbolism, social order, gender, and time. The book deals. Oh, go ahead.
Let's go to the other one. Yeah, to the other article. So they're saying they still do it till today.
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
I see the sound effect doesn't work for Officer 80.
Start from the top.
That's right.
There's restrictions. Where we at?
Start from the top.
Just did the Agat. Oh, okay, the whole thing.
They're also known as agas or aguat.
Cut that whole right side. Don't need that whole right side. Cut that off. Don't need that whole thing anyway. Move it over. Yeah.
Agah is a non-Arabic word derived from Turkish. The Turkish word comes from the old Turkic aqua, meaning elder brother.
Turkish means Edomites mixed with Arabs, primarily Edom. That's why I said before. I think Muhammad was a Turk. I don't think he was full Ishmael.
Yo, move it up more.
I think he was more like the Edomite Arab. I call them Edom Arabs.
Oh man,
come on.
The Prophet's Mosque is also known as Al-Masjid or Al-Nabawi, where Prophet Muhammad is buried. This mosque represents one of the 3 oldest mosques in the world and is located in Medina. The history of Masjid Nabawi is incomplete without the mention of the guardians, who have their own story. This interesting people hailed from Abyssinia,
Ethiopia. Go ahead.
They are eunuchs who love to live in seclusion.
No, they don't. They're trained to live in seclusion.
Go all the way to the top.
There's
no, it's just pictures. It's 2 pictures.
Oh, right. We brought this out before, right?
No, not this. Not these articles, no. I think they're on the bottom.
No, we seen the pictures, though. Somebody had, I think
the pictures on the bottom. I saw. They're on the bottom.
All right, I mean, I have it here on the top. All right, just keep
going. Go ahead.
Go down. I want to kill the time.
Who are the guardians? Agas are the agua of Masjid Nabawi. The guardians, Agas, are eunuch servants, caretakers of the Masjid Nabawi, have a long and illustrious history, dating back to the mid-12th century.
Yeah, they were slaves. They go back to slavery. Yeah.
This group of guardians, also known as the Aguats, hailing from Abyssinia, a region in northern Ethiopia, hold the keys to both the Prophet Muhammad's burial chamber and the minbar, mosque pulpit. At one time, their numbers rose to over 100 strong. Today, this tradition has now shrunk to a handful of guardians. Indeed, three of those whom al-Qarashi documented have subsequently sadly passed away. In the past, the Agas were involved in 42 activities. They washed the mataf, the circumambulate.
I don't care. Go to the pictures.
Just go to the pictures.
I don't care about none of that stuff. This is a bunch of bullshit. Cutting our penises off and making us watch a grave. That's our brother right there. He was one of the best jobs in the world. He has the keys to prophet chambers in Medina. Medina.
That's the best job.
That's the best job in the world, to walk around with no penis, watching a grave.
Those are the images of them.
That's them here. There's the brothers here. De-sexed brothers, de-sexed Negroes watching a tombstone. These are our brothers here.
So yeah, that's it.
Terrible, man. Terrible. Give me Nehemiah 4 and 7, man.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 4 and verse 7.
When the Lord shall give us the power in the kingdom, we got to have a good time with your nations, bro. We're going to have a good time with y'all. I'm telling you. You're going to live very, very sad lives for the rest of your existence while it's around, when it's needed. Nehemiah 4 and 7.
But it shall come to pass that when Sanballat
was a Moabite. Go ahead.
But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth.
They were very angry. The nations were very angry. They did not want to see us succeed in rebuilding our once prosperous land. Go ahead.
And conspired all of them together.
They all conspired together. Go ahead.
To come and to fight against Jerusalem.
Fight against us. Jump to verse, let me see, verse 9.
Verse 9. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night.
Come on.
Because of them. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall.
We have much work to do. Come on.
And our adversary said, They shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease.
That's the whole purpose. The nations want us to stop trying to rebuild our kingdom. And there's nothing changed. Now it's spiritual now. Go to chapter 5 and 9.
Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 9. Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies?
The heathen, we've always known, according to the Bible, not according to their color of their skin, not according to what we feel or think, but according to what God says. The nations are our enemies. All of them are our enemies. And just because we say that doesn't mean that we bear any hatred or grudge towards them. But at the end of the day, God says they're our enemies. I say I don't have a care about Palestine because they did it to us. They destroyed us. They took over there in Palestine. That land don't belong. That land, that's our land. Imagine me feeling bad for you being destroyed in my house that you stole from me, from somebody else. Make it make sense. You in my land, calling yourself Palestinian, and you fighting one colonizer, and you was the colonizer at one time. I don't feel sorry for y'all. I don't feel sorry for either side. If y'all retaliate, I don't feel sorry for Israel either. Retaliate. Pop off. Get together, grow some balls, and get in touch with Russia, and let's get the game started. Let the games begin. Do your thing. So I can destroy each other, we can get back in the land. Give me 2 Chronicles 21.
Two thieves fighting over stolen property.
Yeah, two thieves fighting over stolen property.
And both of them put together to destroy us.
Yeah.
On top of it.
Hey, Deke, and with these nations, like it just named the Arabians, these the same nations that came to Zerubbabel saying we serve the same God. That's the same thing that Muhammad did.
Yeah.
We the same. We serve the same God. Let's work together.
We were like, no. They said, no. Okay.
Yeah, and the Nabateans, the Arabs, they worked with Rome when they destroyed us in 70 AD. Mm-hmm. They worked together.
2 Chronicles 5, Deke, you said?
No, 2 Chronicles 21, you know I want. 21:16.
2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 16. Moreover, the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and of the Arabians.
Philistines would be the Hamites and the Arabs. Philistines or Palestinians, the original Palestinians, before we got in the land, were the Philistines or the Hamites, the tall Hamites, Goliath and them. Go ahead. And the Arabians, go ahead.
That were near the Ethiopians.
That were near the Cushites, the Nilotics. Go ahead.
And they came up into Judah and break into it.
They raided Judah. Go ahead.
And carried away all the substance that was found in the king's house. And his sons also. And his wives. So that there was never a son left him save Jehoaz, the youngest of his sons.
They took this king's wives and sons, but only one was spared. Jehoaz was spared. So this is a common practice with Ishmael and Ham. Raiding Israel, raiding us, taking our lands and our possessions and our wives and children, and making them eunuchs in their kingdoms. That's what they do. Go to 26 and verse 6. Same book, 26 verse 6.
2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 6.
If you read it early, later on in 1 Maccabees 3, but they're the same thing. Same thing. 26 verse 6.
And he went forth and warred against the Philistines and break down the wall of...
Uzziah went forth. Go ahead.
And break down the wall of Gath and the wall of Jebna and the wall of Ashdod and built cities about Ashdod and among the Philistines.
Verse 7.
And God helped them against the Philistines.
God helped Uzziah against the Philistines, Hamites. Go ahead.
And against the Arabians.
Here we go again in the same cast of demonic characters. And the Arabians. Go ahead.
That dwelt in Gurbaal and the Mehumanians.
All right. So now, let me see what else I want. Give me page 39, the same book. Page 39 to 40. Is there more on the last page you had, or have you read that already? That was page 38. Let me see that. Did we read that yet? No, sir. Read that, please.
Imagine the trauma, pain, screams, infections, confusion of little African boys crying for their mother, father, brothers, sisters, grandmother.
Hold that. Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. No, 31 and 41.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain.
32.
Verse 32.
32.
Yes,
32,
sir.
sorry. 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters
Sons and daughters, go ahead.
shall be given unto another people.
So they'll cry for their mother. They'll cry for their father. Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Parents will long for them all day long. Go ahead.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
No might in your hand. Go ahead. Now go to 41.
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons.
You shall have sons, and they're going to cut their penises off and balls off and make them watch a grave for the rest of their lives. Go ahead.
And daughters.
Daughters who end up concubines and harems getting raped every night, being sexually mistreated and abused in Muslim harems and concubinage. Go ahead.
But thou shalt not enjoy them.
We will not enjoy our children. Go ahead.
For they shall go into captivity.
They will go into slavery in Arab hands, Hamite hands, and Edom hands. Go back to the book now. Continue. Brothers and grandmother, go ahead.
Somebody to come and rescue them from this nightmare.
No one could. That's what God says. No one will get them out of your hand. Go ahead.
And if you survived, imagine growing into manhood with confused sexual urgings that had to be sublimated into busy details of the daily life of your master's women, his business, his political affairs. In contrast, white boys were actually quasi-eunuchs.
So when Ishmael and the Arabs came into power, they took over parts of Europe. So they ended up converting Edomites into slaves. They were referred to as Mamluks. Mamluks or Mozarabs. Then you had Israelites who were also enslaved as well. They were Zanj. So you had white slaves and black slaves. But remember, colorism was a thing among the Ishmaelites. So if you were black, you were frowned upon. The whiter you were as an Arab, the more blessed you were. So when they conquered the Edomites as slaves perceived better treatment than the black slaves. And then when Edomites started getting power, the Arabs couldn't enslave them no more. So they start to chase after the blacks more, or Mamluks. Read it again.
In contrast, white boys were actually quasi-eunuchs because the castration process was only cutting the tip of the penis.
All they cut was the tip of Edomite's penis off.
They took our whole
thing, balls and the shaft. They just took it off. Damn. Go ahead.
Because the castration process was only cutting the tip of the penis
and
leaving the scrotum intact.
So they can still have sex. Just no tip, but they can still have sex regardless, and still have children. But the black children is to not cut their balls and penis off. Go ahead.
Most were able to have sex, and a few were even allowed to have wives and concubines.
The Edomite slaves. Go ahead. So the Edomite slaves are more like indentured in a way.
Yeah, no comparison.
No comparison to the black. Go ahead.
The beastly act of castrating African boys was a part of Muslim slavery. From as early as the 900s AD, thus for 1,000 years, hundreds of thousands of African Agas were castrated. This impacted not only upon them, but upon the men and women they served. Centuries of enslaving Africans left the Arab trader a cold and hollow person who, either through natural birthright or centuries of intermarriage, often was of African descent himself.
Go ahead.
Even so, he and his cohorts saw the enslaved African as no more can y'all help me out? As no more than a sex slave or a two-legged oxen or a cow.
Same thing today. Go ahead.
Cheap beasts of burden or pleasure. And there were plenty more where they came from.
Concubinage
and a harem made women into a focal point of the Muslim slave trade. Their different uses as domestic, mistress, and sex object assured a continuous demand for young female slaves. In these multiple roles, they strengthened the patriarchal family, which is at the basis of Muslim society. The merger of this form of slavery into the structure of family life helped make slavery into a formidable institution in the Islamic world, and says much about why it became so difficult to do away with it.
They haven't. Jump down, because the Quran allows it. Read there.
In the mid-1800s, the Arab slave trade was bringing $5 to $17.50 for a healthy adult and $2 to $6 for a healthy child. But a donkey would cost between $11.50 and $30. There were more battles going on between Africans, thus more captives.
Animals cost more than us. Go ahead.
Thus more captives to be sold than ever before. Thus, eventually, by the mid-19th century, enslaved Africans sold for 50 cents a head. Some Europeans and Arabs even traded a cow for 5 Africans or a donkey for 6 Africans.
The animals cost more. Damn. Next page.
Shit, Esau treat animals with more respect today than us.
Yeah, ain't changed. Yeah, go ahead.
The raids and caravans of captives.
The raids and caravans of captives. Go ahead.
The Arab slavers would go inland and raid at nightfall, just as the villagers were having their communal dinner. Those who resisted,
minding their own business. Same thing. Go ahead.
Those who resisted or tried to run away were shot. When the Arabs encountered more warlike Africans, they used the divide and conquer method.
When they came across us who was gangster, they said, we can't attack them so we attack that group. We got to turn them against each other. Let them fight each other and then come in afterwards and kill the strong of them.
Deal wisely.
Deal wisely with them. Go ahead.
The Arabs would stir up conflict between two groups, then lend their support to one group over the other. The African victors traded...
Ain't that what Edom does? Ain't that what Edom does?
That's what they're doing in Haiti right now.
There was spark beef between our people amongst each other and then side with the other stronger group. Go ahead.
The African victors traded their captives for Arab trinkets.
Then they would make them sell who they conquered using our help to help them sell them. Go ahead.
Trinkets, beads, and cloth. The Arab caravans of enslaved Africans grew. The Arabs would kill most of the adult men.
They would kill most of the men. Go ahead.
Because they had resisted and would most likely continue to resist.
Because we believed in our God. We found no Islam. Hell with that. Go ahead.
Their deaths served to put fear in the hearts of the living.
Come down to the other part, young men.
Young men, women, and children of all ages were bound by hand, either with hemp or leather, which grew tighter as time went on.
Yeah, and we walked from hundreds of miles. Go ahead.
And by neck yokes.
By neck yokes
to each other, and forced to walk for hundreds of miles through dense forests, savannas, mountains, and waterways.
To head towards the slave ports of the Portuguese ships. So we had a Trail of Tears on America, and the Trail of Tears in Africa by the Arabs. Damn. Go ahead. Jump down.
In 1,200 years of Arab slavery.
1,200 years. In counting. Of what? Arab slavery. Go ahead.
Tens of millions of Africans died before they could even be sold.
Page 40. The key page. Come on. What?
Hey.
Put your hand. Go ahead. So I'll say something.
Hey, Deke, if I may get a script real quick.
You can.
Go to Baruch 2 and start at verse 2.
I'll walk around with it here.
Just going to read two verses. And just going back to the point that Deke had brought out earlier, because I know somebody tripping in the comments. I know somebody tripping over the fact that Esau was made slaves. It still doesn't change the fact that we went through the worst torture under the whole heavens. There has been nothing done unto anybody as has been done to Israel.
Did tripping over what?
Read that in Baruch 2. No, I'm just saying, I'm sure somebody going to trip over that or bring that up. See, Esau was slaves too. They always come up with some random stuff.
Yeah.
Try to downplay what happened to God's people.
You got it over there? You have it?
What was that, officer?
Did y'all find it?
2 and 2.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Why they do this all the time. Oh, we don't have it, guys.
We don't know where it is.
We don't know where it is, guys. Oh, here it is. Look.
Disregard. Never mind. You got it.
Go ahead.
They're university students.
Yeah, right.
Page 40. Let's go. Read page 40.
Temple alumni, huh?
Yeah.
Fully hair. Oh man, that was crazy.
Hey, none against any of you.
None against y'all who are in college, man. I'm not talking about you. You're in here, so obviously your intelligence is a bit different from the ones we encountered.
Just the ones whose brains are smooth.
Yeah.
But they're here too.
Oh snap! They're in IT. Damn. Go ahead.
Oh man, slavery was so institutionalized on the East Coast. No, we good. Slavery was so institutionalized on the East Coast of Africa that one Tanganyika coastal town was called Bagamoyo. Bagamoyo. Here we leave our souls.
Jump down to Arab.
Arab slave ships carried 200 to 400 captured Africans.
Man, that's up on the top.
Yes, sir. In fact, Bagamoyo was one of the most important slave embarkment ports for those captives.
That's why I entitled this lesson Destinations. Slave ships, destinations. Destinations. So we got Zanzibar here. Go ahead.
Destined for Zanzibar. The Arab slave trade's key island.
Go ahead.
over the 7 centuries from 900 to the 600 AD.
2000s. Go ahead.
Of the early Arab slave trade, hundreds of thousands of Africans died crossing the Indian Ocean between Tanganyika, Kenya, and Zanzibar.
Tanganyika is now Tanzania. Same place. Go ahead.
Arab slave ships carried 200 to 400.
Arab what?
Arab slave ships.
No, slave ships don't exist. Slave ships don't exist. Read again.
Arab slave ships.
They're called dhows. They're called dhows. 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 Go ahead.
Carried 200 to 400 captured Africans jammed together, either on an open deck or below the deck, with no regard for sex or age, for sanitation or food quality.
Go ahead.
The trip could take 1 day to reach Zanzibar, or it could take 2 weeks. Either way, there was not enough food and no health support. So the loss of African lives averaged about half of the original human cargo.
So they shipped over 150 survived. 200, 100 survived. Because they didn't provide enough food or resources for them to survive the trip of 1 day or 2 weeks or whatever. Now. Give me the encyclopedia. Oh, wait, is that it? What page is this, 41?
41.
Do I want that yet? No. Well, I might go back to that another time. Let me see it real fast. 41? Let me see. Wait. You read that. Why not? Read that. Why not? Go ahead, read it.
Go up top.
You already got it there.
Go. Is it more up top? Up top? Up top? Up top? Numbers. It's impossible to be certain, but according to our best estimates, at least 9.64 million African women and 4.75 million African men were sold in the Arab slave trade.
It's only a guesstimate. It's way more than that. But go ahead.
Some 14 to 20 million African men, women, and children were killed, either trying to resist capture, en route to be sold, waiting to board the slave ships, or caravans bound for the Muslim world, at the holding pens and dungeons, or in the process of being castrated for eunuch slavedom.
See? That's how you know that those brothers that watch that Muhammad's grave, they come from a line of slaves. Young children bought their slaves and forced to work there and guard a graveyard. They're guarding a casket with dust in it because he's gone. Read that.
Africans must be a powerful people to have survived all that.
Yeah, go ahead. Israelites, go ahead.
But this was just the beginning of the misery and the test of survival.
Yeah, we're still in that misery today. Ain't nothing changed. Now, Encyclopedia Americana. I'm gonna share out something. We're gonna start from the bottom first.
The Encyclopedia Americana.
We're gonna go down to the usual. Go down to the right hand corner. Go to the bottom. Is that I want? Go to the other page.
Next
page.
page.
223.
Yep.
We'll go back to that page I wanted, but let's go to this one first. You read that right there, bottom right.
Social conflicts.
Yes.
Warfare and headhunting have been the social conflicts, both now controlled by European governments.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest military organizations were those of the Masi in East Africa and of the Zulus in the South.
Slavery was due.
Slavery was due to raids of Arabs and Hamites on Negro communities.
So, slavery was due to raids of Arabs and Hamites, Philistines and Arabians on Israelite or Negro communities. They understand that there is a distinction between us and these people. No matter how black the Arabs were, Esau knew those are Israelites, those are Hamites, those are Israelites. They knew the difference. The same way Ishmael and Ham knew the difference. They didn't raid their own towns and enslave they enslaved their own. They didn't put them on a damn ship. Now, let's go back to what I want. Give me page 216. Watch this. Why am I going there? Page 216. What's in there? Right here, Semites. Read Semites here. Watch this.
Semites. The Arabs of North and East Africa are typical of the Semitic family, which has light brown skin color and refinement of nose and lips in common with the Hamites.
Because remember, the Ishmaelites were black, but over time, mixing with Esau, they got lighter, like Muhammad was, and many others you see today getting bombed over there in Gaza are of lighter shade. But originally, they were very dark. And in some instances, if you go to certain places, like in Philly, they got some of them working in the stores. They got there's a black Arab, I think we go to camp. He worked right across the street from us. He's black. He's an Arab. He know he's an Arab. You don't deny it. Read it again. Watch this.
The Arabs of North and East Africa are typical of the Semitic family, which has light brown skin color and refinement of nose and lips in common with the Hamites.
Watch this.
Both Semites and Hamites belong to the white race.
Stop. What's wrong with this here? The Semites he's referring to here are the Arabs. Do the Arabs belong to a white race? No. Do the white people here call us Hamites. How do the Hamites belong to the white race if Negroes are Hamites? That don't make sense. So why is the white man calling both Semites here, which are Arabs, and Hamites here belonging to the white race? Why is he saying that? Continue.
And except their skin is often dark brown.
Wait, so both their skins are oftentimes dark brown, but they belong to the white race? That don't make no sense. Why is this being said? Continue.
They might, so far as facial traits are concerned, belong to the white Caucasian division of mankind.
Now he goes to say they might, because what? Both tend to be dark. So they might be of the white race, but read on.
Semites, like Hamites, have been a conquering race in Africa.
How? By raiding Negro communities. Raiding Israelites. Watch.
Both following the occupation of slave traders.
Stop! So these Semites, Arabs, and Hamites had a slave raiders occupation. Go ahead.
In Negro territory.
They had both followed the occupation of slave traders in Negro territories. Letting you know once again that Esau understands that these Arabs and these Hamites are not Negroes, but belong to the white race. Read on.
Territory until the end of the 19th century.
Watch.
David Livingstone fought the Arab slave trade in the period 1860 to 1870.
So what am I showing you here? The white man says that the Arabs and the Hamites belong to his race because they all work together. So they say, well, they might be like us because they enslave the niggas. So they might come from, they're both dark sometime, but they get light too, so they might be part of our race. The white man knows that the Semites or Arabs and the Hamites are distinct from the people that they have occupations in slave trading. That's why they're saying that these people might belong to the white race because they're all work together. Give me Psalms 83. That's why he's saying this. Because they know that Hamites and Arabs are not Caucasian. That's stupid as hell. They know that. But because they work together so well in the slave trading occupation, and these two races can tend to be mixing with white folks, they get lighter, but they tend to be brown. They belong to us. They're with us. They're part of our race. That's why, white, they weren't selling these people as slaves. They weren't selling Arabs. They weren't selling Hamites. They were selling the Negroes that these two races overthrew and conquered.
That's why when the Arabs had Esau as slaves, they didn't chop the whole thing off.
They didn't cut the whole thing off. There was a certain solidarity with them. Psalms 83 now, verse 2.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
He says thine enemies. Remember in Nehemiah 5 and 9? The heathen, your enemies. Nehemiah said it. All of them are our enemies, not based upon personal feelings or their color or their race or us deeming ourselves superior. God says we're superior, number one. And number two, God told us that they're our enemy and that their God is not our God. Their rock is not our rock. So we cannot be friends with these people. And I'm not saying disrespect them or hurt them or do worse, but biblically speaking, we're not the same. We're not. Their gods and their customs are adverse to our customs, and because of that, God says they're your enemy. You can't deal with them that way. Read again.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Your enemies have taken crafty counsel against you. Come on.
And have consulted against thy hidden ones.
Why are we called thy or God's hidden ones? Read the next verse to explain why we're called hidden.
They have said.
Our enemies have said what?
Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
I'm going to show you something real fast. Come, let us cut them off from being a nation. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to show you something crazy. This is the Bible commentary. Hold on. Let me see if I have it. When I'll say something, I'll find this thing real quick.
Bring it out.
Yeah, real quick, Daniel 9:12. Hold that for Dick. That's what you was referring to earlier.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 12. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
This is what the story we're reading now, that's a great evil. The slavery, how our women get treated. Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
Right, that's what our officer was saying earlier. Somebody in the comment might say the Edomite went to slavery. But our captivity, like Deacon just showed, they castrated us. But when it comes to the Edomite, they were still able to reproduce, have sex, and, so the evil was done to us was worse than anybody else. So you can't compare that to anybody indenturing slave servitude than our slavery, because ours is the worst. That's what the scripture says has been confirmed by the word of the Most High, that he spake against us. So that was going to happen to us. Go ahead.
Verse 13, as it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet may we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
See that? So that's what we got to do. We got to pray unto the Most High so he can reverse that curse.
Somebody else say something. I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find it. Is there a garbage can in the images on our phone?
It's a garbage can.
I think I threw it by accident.
Oh, you go.
Yeah, it might be it. Let me see it. Okay, y'all in the spirit. Might be. Let me see.
Are they
Did I
literally?
send to y'all? Psalms 83, go down.
It has to be.
Cut them off. Cut them off. What
Oh,
verse
you
is
sent
that?
it to him yesterday, remember?
What verse is that? What verse is that? Yeah. Yeah, I did send to y'all. Go down, go down.
Y'all all right?
Did I send to y'all yesterday?
Yeah, I remember you pulled it up. Remember you found it yesterday.
Yo, castration.
I did. I sent to y'all. Hold on a second. I sent to y'all on Telegram yesterday.
During your class, before the class.
I didn't use it.
No, castration is a form of cutting us off from being a nation.
Yeah,
because we come from the seed of man.
Yes, a good point.
If they cut our loins off,
you can't reproduce.
Then you can't reproduce, and the nation is not gonna
Grow.
increase and grow. So they cut us off physically and spiritually.
Historically.
Yeah, and historically, in every way possible, they cut us off.
Hold on.
Trying to erase us.
No, I didn't send to y'all. I don't think.
That's verse 4.
Wait. Yeah. I sent to you. It's in Bible Hub. It's in the I Will Hit the History link. Psalms 8, 3, and 4.
And I know here too.
Go all the way down to the bottom.
The Edomite Christians, they would purposely castrate us because they knew the scripture in Deuteronomy 23 about the stones that you cut off from your people if you get castrated. So they would do that on purpose before they would kill us.
Go to. Hold on. Read this real fast before I sign off. Hold on. Go to commentary. Your commentary?
Yeah, he's here.
Hold on. It tells you what it means. Hold on.
Click on parallel commentaries. That shows all of them, all the commentaries.
Hold on. It says what it means. It's cut off. It says cut off memory of. It says identity. Look for identity. Look, find and page identity.
Yeah, you about to say you could type it. Yeah.
IDE, no?
Nah, they
IDEN.
Can't spell identity.
Nah, it's not there. Go down. Go.
Okay, read Cambridge. Go to Cambridge. I'll find it. Go to Cambridge Bible.
Right.
Yep, read that. Read Psalms 83 again. And verse 4.
Verse 4 again, you said?
Yeah.
Psalms 83 and verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Yeah, read that. Now read that Cambridge now.
From being a nation, their aim is to obliterate the name of Israel from the map of the world.
Yeah, sure. But the other one says it's cut their identity off. It says it. I don't know if it's verse 5 or what. Let me see. It says identity. Let me try. Hold on. Next page. Hold on.
Hey, get Revelations 13:7 real quick.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
Go ahead.
And to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
But what I want is the first part. It was given unto him to make war with the saints. So don't think for a minute that the Hamites, the Arabs, these nations came against us and just casually just rounded us up. No, there was war. There was war going on. All right? Like, we are actually prisoners of war in America today. We are prisoners of war. All right? We're not here to be comfortable. We're not here to be voting and all this other nonsense, right? We was prisoners of war. We fought back. You think they just castrated us and we ain't fight back?
Yeah, remember earlier we first read this, he was happily.
Yeah, he tried to make it seem. I wanted to pull this when at that point where he said we was all happy. I'm like, I wanted to get this done. No, we fought back. Right. But Esau make it seem, Esau in their when they're writing and so forth in their histories, they'll make it look like we just happily want to be taken. Like Bishop Yawasop brought out last night in the NIV, how they switched Deuteronomy 28:68 and said we want it to be offered up. Like, come choose me. I'm right here, over here, over here.
No, I don't want no slave.
Yeah, right. I love slave ships. Put me on a slave ship. Nah, that ain't how that went down. We fought back.
They try to minimize the atrocities they had done to us to make themselves feel better. Like today with the history books, they say, oh, Africans came from Africa to look for work over here.
Right. Esau 10 steps ahead.
Migration.
Mm-hmm. Esau 10 steps ahead. So they know in their histories, let me put this because down the line, they don't want to make their descendants feel bad for what they did. But it's too late.
Just like slavery in Oceania. They don't call it slavery. They call it blackbirding. No, they were just getting work.
Yeah. Right. In some books, they say it's a forced migration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They try to use different words. But overall, we fought back.
And that's why that script in Daniel says he wore out the saints.
Yes.
Because they were fighting.
Yeah.
But I was even with the news today, I was listening on the news how anything going on with the war with Amalek and Iran, they always make it seem like there's no retaliation from Iran. Because on news, they always have to push that they got no defeats, they got no critical damage given to them, because they always want to make it seem that they're undefeatable.
Right,
and that's how you do against oppressed people. You can't make it seem like they're winning in any instance. So anything you push out, it has to be total domination.
Right. And it goes back to, it said, remember, read the top verse again. Verse 7.
Sir. Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
That's what
go to my link I sent you. This is it. Go up to what I sent y'all before. Go back. Psalms 8, 3, and 4. The link I sent you in the Telegram. It's in the bottom. Don't press anything. Don't just leave it as it is. Go down to the bottom. You should see like words wipe out. Let me see. Go down. Yep. Go down. Right there. They have said yes. Right there. Hold on. Now, let me see. Type in identity here. It might be in there. Identity. I-D-E-N-T.
ID.
Yep. Hold on. Okay. How many times are written there? Identity. How many times are written? Go down. Yep. That's it. That's it. There we go. Now read that. Let us fight them out as a nation. Psalms 83 again. We're going to land on here. We're going to close it here. Psalms 83 verse 4 again.
Yes, sir. Psalms chapter 83 and verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Going back to castrating us. Go ahead and separating us from our women. Turning our women against us. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Now read, let us fight them out. Read that part there.
Let us wipe them out as a nation. This phrase reveals the ultimate goal of Israel's enemies, the complete eradication of Israel as a distinct people. The Hebrew word for wipe out is nakadim, which implies annihilation or destruction.
Watch.
The intent is not merely to defeat, but to obliterate the identity and existence of Israel.
That's what they want. That's what they did. We have no idea who we are today. Not a clue. They were successful in this. Read on.
This reflects the historical reality of existential threats. Existential threats faced by Israel, where enemies sought not just conquest, but total destruction
of us. Go ahead.
Theologically, this underscores the persistent enmity against God's covenant people
throughout history. Read the next one.
May the name of Israel be remembered no more.
The desire
to erase the name of Israel signifies an attempt to obliterate their
what?
legacy.
Wait. We got to read that slow, Jed. Read that slow. Let that thing marinate. Read again.
The desire to erase the name of Israel signifies an attempt,
because it won't gonna happen. Go ahead.
To obliterate their legacy, history, and identity.
That's cutting us off. That means cut their balls off, cut their penis off, divide them as a nation, scatter them all over the world. That's what Psalms 8 is talking about. That's why Malcolm X had this thing in his Bible highlighted, because he knew it was talking about us, and we know it today. Read on.
In Hebrew culture, a name is deeply tied to identity and destiny.
In Hebrew culture, a name is deeply tied to identity and destiny. So give them new names. Rename them. Black, Hispanic, Native American, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Jamaican, Ghanaian, Sierra Leonean, Liberian, Mexican, Argentinian, Negro, Afro-American. That's what, when you say you're an Israelite, you are declaring your destiny. That means Prince of God. You are a Prince of God. Read on.
The word Zakar means to remember or recall.
Watch.
The enemy's aim is to ensure that Israel's name is forgotten.
Watch.
Erasing their influence and presence from history. This reflects a spiritual battle as much as a physical one.
It's both. Go ahead.
Where the forces opposed to God,
the devil, and the nations,
seek to undermine his plans and promises.
Of what? Granting us salvation. Go ahead.
Historically, despite numerous attempts to erase Israel, God's faithfulness has preserved them.
We still here. Go ahead.
Fulfilling his covenant promises. This verse serves as a reminder of the enduring nature of God's protection and the fertility of opposing his divine will.
You can't stop God. Your arms are too short.
That's bad.
So we're going to land it right there. Hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I was excited for y'all. If you weren't excited, I'm excited for you. All praise to the Most High God. Lord, so we're going to continue going into the slave ships destinations part 2, which is part 1. So all praise to the Most High for that. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. We're going to go on to the announcements.
Fire. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for the leadership. Fire. All praise to the Most High. That was some good stuff. Israel, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Our Hidden History Radio. All right, hit the notification button so you know when we go live. Also, subscribe to our Philly channels, IUIC Philadelphia and IUIC Philadelphia in the Classroom, to get the latest camp videos from the deacon, captain, and officers of IUIC Philly.
Don't forget, y'all. Don't forget to donate. I'm not gonna point because I'm always pointing in the wrong place. So where Officer Yakin is pointing to. Donate. Don't forget to donate. You know your contributions. You know your contributions go. You know we got there traveling the world right now as we speak. The leadership is traveling, doing the work of the Lord. That's where your funds go. So please donate. Give your willful contribution. Your willful contribution. I have hiccups. Your willful contribution, and donating to us and helping us out, helping us further this truth. To the Booster Club, the Land Fund. Please help us out. When we mentioned years ago, we mentioned the building fund. We had haters. We had opposition. They ain't buying no building. They're going to pocket the money. They're going to steal the money. They lying. And what do we go and do? We bought a building. And then we bought buildings after that and more after that and more after that. So when we say we're going to put money towards some land to have our feast days, when we want to do it on our own terms and our own land, that's what we're going to do. As well as the Booster Club, you see us traveling, teaching our people throughout the world. So please, if you can, be a cheerful giver and send what you can, when you can, how you can. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. With that being said, also donate to the Booster Club. You can donate to the Booster Club on PayPal to IUIC.fundraising@IsraelUnite.org. Also, subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC. Next. All right, missing persons. We have Sister Rachel Montgomery. Okay, she's 38 years old. Hair color black, eye color brown. I got that right this time. Height 5'3", about 120 pounds. Rachel was last seen on October 20th, 2024. No clothing description given. All right, so she's 38 years old. If you do see her, make sure you inform the local authorities. Land fund. You heard it from the bishop. We're going to get that land. Deacon was just going over, all right? It just depends whether you're going to be a part of that mission or not. So, if you believe, send in your funds to PayPal to Israel at israelunite.org. In the comment section, put land. Next. And last but not least, Shalom, we're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. All right, so pull out your phone, hit that QR code, and give your honest feedback. You are allowed to tell the truth. This is like me, Deke. Sometimes during the show, my audio was going out the whole time, and I will be writing a report about this. That's all.
That's it?
Yes, that's it.
All praises, man. So we're going to pray for Abaddon's sorrow here. But all praise for that. Those will see y'all next time. We're going to go into some more history regarding our destinations and we were dropped off. And so I hope you guys are with us at the time or with us during that time and look to see you guys again next week. So shalom. Most High Christ bless. See y'all again.
Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom. Most High Christ.